The image is now one of the most reliable formulas on the Filipino internet. A foreigner enters a carinderia, tastes a familiar dish, speaks a few words of Tagalog, and declares that the Philippines is special. The comment section fills with pride. The algorithm notices. A meal that would be ordinary if filmed by a local creator becomes an event because an outsider has approved it. Kuya Kurt works inside this formula, but his story also reveals why the formula cannot be judged by the thumbnail alone. Kuya Kurt is the online name of Kurt Harris, an American creator who visits small eateries, speaks with owners and customers, and presents Filipino food with an enthusiasm that is both personal and highly shareable. His recurring persona as a carinderia inspection agent gives humble restaurants the structure of an adventure. Fluent Tagalog reduces the distance between host and subject. With roughly 474,000 YouTube subscribers, the resulting content has become more than travel appreciation. It is a livelihood built from Filipino attention. That fact places him near a controversial category, Pinoybaiting. Filipino researchers use the term for content in which foreign creators feature Philippine culture, people, or symbols to attract Filipino engagement. A creator praises adobo, reacts to a singer, or places the flag in a thumbnail, then discovers that recognition from abroad is a renewable source of clicks. The appeal is not difficult to understand. A country shaped by colonial rule, migration, and unequal global visibility is often sensitive to how outsiders see it. Filipinos regularly watch local achievement travel abroad before treating it as fully validated at home. Foreign praise reverses a familiar hierarchy for a moment. The country usually asked to admire richer nations becomes the object of admiration. The viewer is not only watching a stranger enjoy lunch, the viewer is watching the Philippines become worthy in someone else's eyes. Algorithms convert that emotional need into a market. They do not evaluate whether praise is sincere. They measure whether it keeps people watching, commenting, and sharing. Once a foreign creator discovers the response, affection can become a repeatable format. This is why intention alone is a weak test. A person may genuinely love Filipino culture and also know that saying so performs well. Sincerity and self-interest are not opposites on the internet. They often occupy the same frame. Kuya Kurt's history complicates the easiest cynical reading. He first arrived in the Philippines in 2001 as a 19-year-old missionary from Utah. He spent about 2 years in communities across Abra, La Union, and Pangasinan. Formal preparation gave him a beginning in Tagalog, while ordinary conversation deepened both his Tagalog and Ilocano. Meals in people's homes introduced him to food not as a list of exotic dishes, but as part of hospitality, memory, and daily life. He returned to the United States and did not come back to the Philippines until 2018. His early social pages helped him recover language he feared he was losing. By 2023, while working in software and considering the disruption artificial intelligence might bring, content creation became a serious alternative. He traveled back and forth in 2024, then moved to the Philippines full-time in 2025. None of this proves purity. A long relationship with a culture is not a lifetime exemption from criticism. Fluency can be used as a marketing advantage, and residence can become part of a brand. But duration matters, because exploitation often depends on replaceability. The shallow content tourist can exchange the Philippines for the next country that produces stronger analytics. Someone who learns languages, returns after years away, and reorganizes a life around. The place has made commitments that cannot be reduced to a reaction video. The better question is therefore not, does he benefit? Of course he benefits. The useful questions are harder. Who else benefits? Who controls the story? How specifically is the culture understood? Can the people on camera speak for themselves? Does the creator remain accountable when praise becomes criticism? And does attention return to the community as something more durable than a view count? Kuya Kurt appears conscious of this obligation. He has described carinderia owners and sari-sari store operators as content partners and has said that he wants them, rather than himself, to become the stars. His public support page says contributions help fund tips for workers and owners of small restaurants. In interviews, he connects recipes and language to knowledge passed between generations. These choices offer a stronger model of cultural content because they recognize that the people supplying the story are not scenery. Still, the word partner should function as a standard, not merely a warm description. The creator owns the channel, edit, audience relationship, and long-term revenue. The eatery may receive customers or a generous tip, but it also surrenders its image to a story it does not fully control. A respectful production requires consent, accurate context, and a clear understanding of how footage will be used. When a small business helps make a successful episode, reciprocity should not depend only on the creator's mood. Language changes this relationship in an important way. A foreign host who knows only a rehearsed compliment can talk about Filipinos while remaining insulated from their answers. Tagalog allows Kuya Kurt to ask follow-up questions, understand jokes, hear correction, and become the object of teasing himself. His use of Ilocano in northern communities adds regional specificity that generic praise usually lacks. Language does not erase the power difference between a wealthy foreign-facing channel and a roadside vendor, but it gives the people being filmed greater room to answer back. This may be the most meaningful part of his appeal. Many foreigner-centered videos make the Filipino audience listen to an outsider's verdict. Kuya Kurt's strongest episodes instead let conversation redirect the encounter. A driver, cook, vendor, or customer can explain a dish, laugh at his assumptions, or reveal a life that the planned format did not anticipate. The content becomes less about a foreigner's discovery and more about the social intelligence required to enter someone else's space without dominating it. Even the name Kuya carries this tension. It is not simply a catchy Filipino word attached to an American identity. It is a relational title. It places the speaker inside an imagined family while granting him affection and a degree of authority. Harris has said that he does not think of himself as famous, only as someone with many friends he has not met. That sentence beautifully describes the warmth of creator culture, but also its asymmetry. The audience may know his voice, travels, and habits. He encounters most of them only as a crowd. The carinderia is the ideal stage for this relationship because it is both public and intimate. It is accessible, inexpensive, and embedded in the rhythm of work. Its food often carries family knowledge without the prestige of formal dining. When a creator gives it cinematic attention, he can challenge the idea that cultural worth belongs only to expensive restaurants. But romantic praise can also flatten difficulty. The small eatery is not merely charming. It may involve narrow margins, exhausting labor, unstable prices, and limited protection for workers. This is where appreciation must mature into attention. To love Filipino food is not only to call it delicious. It is to become curious about who wakes early to prepare it, who can afford to keep selling it, which regional traditions disappear when ingredients become costly, and how labor is divided inside the kitchen. A channel that shows only smiling hospitality risks turning Filipinos into endlessly cheerful hosts. Respect must allow the country to be complicated, tired, unequal, funny, proud, and sometimes unwilling to perform welcome. The burden should not fall on Kuya Kurt alone. Filipino audiences participate in the economy of approval. Each comment thanking a foreigner for loving the country can reinforce the idea that outside recognition carries more weight than local knowledge. The solution is not to reject foreigners who participate sincerely. It is to stop treating foreignness itself as proof of authority. A visitor's delight can be enjoyable without becoming a national certificate of worth. Kuya Kurt's work is most interesting when it moves beyond that certificate. His history, language, residence, and stated commitment to small businesses distinguish him from the most disposable versions of Pinoybaiting. They do not settle every ethical question, but they provide evidence of relationship rather than a sequence of compliments. The remaining test will be time. Whether the work deepens after the novelty fades, whether communities remain partners as the channel grows, and whether criticism can be received with the same openness as hospitality. Belonging is not achieved by saying I love the Philippines often enough, nor is it denied forever to someone born elsewhere. It is built through memory, responsibility, correction, and return. The guest becomes more trustworthy when he stops asking only what the country can give his story and begins asking what his story owes the country. In that sense, the most important thing Kuya Kurt can offer is not foreign approval. It is proof that attention can become a form of care, listening long enough for praise to lose its novelty, staying long enough for welcome to become obligation, and returning the gaze as dignity rather than profit alone.